On January 30th, 1969, one of the coolest and most historic events in rock and roll history happened at the top of a building in Savile Row in London. Hi everybody, Matt here, back again with another video for you. Today we're going to be talking about the historic Beatles rooftop concert, one of the coolest, most historic moments in all of rock and roll history. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the event itself, and maybe some stuff you didn't know, maybe some stuff you did, and also because yesterday was the official 49th anniversary of the event, so let's get right into it. So the concert itself only lasted about 42 minutes, so that's not much in terms of length, but in the terms of a historic event, that's a pretty important 42 minutes. Mostly because it would be the last time all four Beatles members would perform together. Thankfully, the cameras and audio equipment were rolling, and we got pretty much all of the event. The concert came about as a part of the Get Back film project. The original plan was to write and record new music and then perform it in front of a live studio audience. Originally this was going to be done at the studio where they started filming, but that was soon abandoned because the studio itself was very cold, very sterile, and they just didn't want to perform there. There were some other locations that were suggested, some of them pretty crazy. The Palladium and the Roundhouse in London, they wanted to perform in the Sahara Desert, at the Pyramids of Giza, on an ocean liner, and even an ancient Greek Colosseum. I don't know if they were possibly talking to the members of Pink Floyd, but maybe that's where they got the idea to do the Pompeii concert. According to Ringo, they didn't want to move all their stuff to any of these locations, so somebody just said, why don't we just go up on the roof? And the rest is history. Speaking of the idea of doing a rooftop concert, there is a theory that this decision was influenced by Jefferson Airplane, who had done the same thing, performed a rooftop concert 2 weeks earlier in New York. Although the film footage itself was recorded up on the roof, the sound recording was actually done in the basement. Alan Parsons ran his audio equipment from the roof all the way down into the basement. One of the big problems that Parsons encountered was it was very cold that day. It was very windy, and so what he did was he went out to the store, bought a bunch of pantyhose and put them over the microphones, and there you go. It's a really simple trick that actually is still used in a lot of recording studios. Speaking of the wind and the weather, it was about 45 degrees on the roof, and the band, they were really feeling it. John and Ringo, the coats that they're wearing are actually their wives, and they used them to keep warm. George, he had a guy standing by him with lit cigarettes, and he was putting his fingers over him. You can even see in the video, you see John doing this a lot to warm up his fingers just to play. Billy Preston had gloves, he didn't really have to worry about that, and thank God, his keyboard playing is amazing on that. The official set list that they had was Get Back, Don't Let Me Down, I've Got a Feeling, One After 909, and Dig a Pony. All of which had multiple takes except for the last two. There are some snippets of other songs that were played in between those tracks. Among them, A Pretty Girl Is Like a Melody, God Save the Queen, and I Want You. I Want You, that particular excerpt was actually paid tribute to in the Beatles rock band. It's part of the rooftop concert stage level, whatever you want to call it. There were rumors that more songs were planned to be played, and this was because people went back and they watched the footage and they noticed that there were a lot more instruments on the rooftop, and they thought, well, are they going to play For You Blue, or are they going to play Across the Universe? Like, what are they going to do up here? And it's unknown, only the band members know for sure. For my money, one of the coolest parts of the movie was when the director went down and got reactions of people on the street. It's just so cool to see people commenting on this historic event as it happened, and some people got it, some people didn't. One of my favorite shots is an old lady going, "It just doesn't seem to make any sense." Yeah, it's just so great and wonderful. I love the shots of people looking out the windows, climbing up on the roof, on their office rooftops, and watching this thing happen. It was really cool. Unfortunately, the police had to come down and they had to bust up the Beatles. But they weren't as aggressive as people thought. They weren't going to mace the Beatles or, hit them with billy clubs or anything like that. And actually, the reason that they were called was because there were crowds forming and the traffic was getting really bad around the building, so they had to put a stop to it, unfortunately. They even called them and said, look, you guys got about 10 minutes before we pull the plug on this whole thing, so nice guys to actually do that. Some other kind of random bits of trivia here. George's guitar was a prototype that was given to him by the company that made it, and apparently the guys were really excited when it showed up on the film. John couldn't remember the lyrics to some of the songs, and so on Don't Let Me Down he says, "And if you really got your Gucci bully," he just makes up nonsense. It's a really cool moment, especially when you see the film, because you can see him laugh and some of the film crew laugh. It's really, really cool. The building where they were now actually houses a children's Abercrombie and Fitch. Go figure. Over the years, there have been many official and bootleg recordings of that particular concert. For me, I really like the audio from the film of the concert, just because it has the people's reactions, and it just has a more, fly-on-the-wall type feel to it. I do like the stuff that made it onto the official album, as well as the reissue on Naked, but yeah, I really like the audio from the film. I think that's probably my favorite recording of it. The Rooftop concert was a defining moment for both the group and history itself. The Rooftop concert, not too many concerts have that honor of being literally historic. It's in the history books. The images, the idea, everybody's copied it, everybody's tried to do something of that nature, and I don't think anybody has ever even come close to anything like it. I find it really fitting that the Beatles' Love Show by Cirque du Soleil actually begins with them playing Get Back, and we're on the rooftop, and it's a very cool moment, because it's almost as if to say that, yes, this was the end of the physical band, but the music and the inspiration that they would create would carry on forever. And I just think that that's really cool. So that's all I have to say about the Beatles Rooftop concert. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.